welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you remember me. Today I wanted to make my usual style video where I draw something and yap about something else. You can either watch me draw or just listen to me talk about this and that. Kind of like we're on a FaceTime call together, but I'm the only one talking. You know how it goes. Today I'll be doing a sketchbook spread of all the Stardew Valley bachelors and bachelorettes because lately my husband and I have been playing so much Stardew Valley and it's kind of the only thing I can think about. I'm so happy to be sitting here recording a video again. I'm so sorry, it has been too long. I'm just busy, I don't know what else to say. For basically the entirety of 2025 so far, I've actually been working at a cafe. Not anymore as of really recently, just because my husband and I are getting ready to move, which I am super excited about. I'm just really looking forward to our new home. That's kind of what I've been up to for the beginning of the year. It was fairly fitting with my whole brand being, you know, latte swirl, lattes, espressos, and all that. It was fun working as a barista. It was my first time working as a barista or in food service in general. It was pretty alright, but that particular job, it was just a little bit not what I was expecting. I had a nice time working there overall, but there were just like some little things and some unprofessionalities that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. What sort of caught me by total surprise was that I was sort of expected to work just totally on my own for the majority of my time working there, like handling lunch rushes on the daily, like literally just on my own. I get that working in restaurants is a totally like, you know, very common and normal job for people to do, but it's just not what I thought I was signing up for, so it kind of took me by total surprise. I wouldn't even be mentioning this at all or complaining about it whatsoever if my manager had been like working with me, like she had been like when I first started. When I first started the job is when I enjoyed it the most because, you know, we worked together and we handled rushes together, DoorDash, putting phone orders together and everything. But then at a certain point, she just kind of left me on my own. She's like, okay, you got this, good. And it was, so I don't do well with rushing. I don't do well with, I can do well with multitasking, but there is a limit. And when literally 17 people walk through the door and order something, they're probably expecting that the kitchen behind me is going to be taking care of it, but no, the people in the kitchen are working on something totally different for another side of the company, and I myself, just me, have to make all of these sandwiches and all of these drinks for all these people that are sitting and waiting, all these people that are waiting to go, and it's like, oh my gosh, it was so stressful and very poorly managed and run, honestly. I feel like it was very unprofessional on the side of management to run the business like that, and it wasn't fair for them to ask all that of me. Like I said, this could warrant its own like dramatic YouTube story time, but I'm not gonna get into that fully right now. I promise I don't have a problem with hard work. I actually do like to work hard, but I just feel like that wasn't normal. Like I feel like every time I go into a cafe personally, which admittedly is not that often anymore, but what I remember is there's always at least two people working. Always, at least. Even for like security reasons. But I don't know. Anyway, that's a story for another time. Oh my gosh, talking about it all over again is just making me remember more and more things, and I'm just like getting angrier and angrier about it, and I want nothing more right now than to just rant about every single way that that job had wronged me. Like how they tell me one thing and then all of a sudden change the rules and then yell at me for just doing it how they told me to do it, but then I wasn't aware that the rules changed all of a sudden one day, or how I wasn't allowed to take my tips that people would give me. It was just very weird. Again, I have to restrain myself. I will talk about this another time. Oh my gosh, and then there was that one time the state power and electric had come in and was asking to speak to the owner because the owner literally wasn't paying the electric bill, and that guy, he was trying to be nice and he was like, I've been trying to get in contact with her, I've been trying to call her, I don't want to have to shut the power off, but I'm gonna have to, and that's literally what he had to do, like, because I was calling the owner and he was calling the owner and nobody could get in touch with her, and it turns out she was just like off getting her hair done while the cafe literally just had to close because the guy had to literally just turn the power off because the owner wasn't paying the electric bill. And that was right before I had gotten my first paycheck too, and I remember going home and telling my husband like, so this happened today and I don't know if I'm going to get paid if they're not paying the it was so weird. I did get paid, everything was fine. Yeah, Okay, I'm done now. I just had to rant a little bit, just a little bit. I'm good now. All right, moving on to next topic. So yeah, anyway, we've been playing Stardew Valley a little bit more lately. Mostly my husband has, I not so much, just a little bit here and there. Oh my gosh, and I am so sorry. My glasses keep getting into frame. Just ignore that. Just ignore it. It's fine. It's been a while, and she doesn't know how to record videos anymore. Anyway, I've been kind of busy doing other things, like preparing to bring back the launch of my Patreon and trying to work on comic storyboards again because I need to start working on those again. I took a little break. I have a tendency to fall into a cycle where I just give everything in my life like 120% and then inevitably burn myself out for a little period, and then I have like a rest period where I have to like put myself back together, and then I just like vroom, like full force just go right back into it. So I'm working on trying to find a balance in my workflow and like the things that I'm working on in life and balancing responsibilities and all that together. Speaking of which, so the comic, I've been talking a lot about specifically the Fable Forest Bakery manga, how much I wanted to complete the first volume by the end of this year, and I feel like just more and more as I, work on it and as the year progresses, I feel like I'm just trying to make peace with the fact that that may not happen, but with an asterisk. So I just might not be able to reach the goal of like publishing the physical volume and having that completely done by the end of this calendar year, but what I just might have done instead is all the chapters, if that makes sense. So all of chapters 1 through 5 will likely be completed by the end of this year. Then as I work on all the extra bits and the end of book stuff and all the illustrations and splash pages that go along with a manga, and of course the editing, going back and formatting the pages, fixing mistakes and all that, it will be likely that the first volume should be done still soon, like probably around like early next year, 2026, which is really exciting. I'm the kind of person that I have to set a goal. Like, even if I'm not going to hit that specific goal, like, I just have to set that goal to, like, work for it. Like, I'm very much, like, what is it? Shoot for the moon, aim for the stars. Shoot for the moon, land among the stars. That's definitely the kind of person I am. Like, I need a moon to aim for, and I'm more often than not more than satisfied to land among the stars. That's just how I can get things done. Like, I need the freedom to be able to, like, move the goalpost, so to say, like, like, for my own, like, benefit of, being able to, like, complete the task within a proper and realistic time frame, because more often than not that goalpost that I had set for myself is usually like unrealistically close. So as long as I have like the ability to like move it back as reality becomes clearer and clearer, then yeah, I'm golden. That's usually how I can get things done. What do you even call that kind of work style? It's like unrealistic standards mixed with self-forgiveness. It's a very weird combo, but somehow it works for me. By the way, another thing that I had forgotten to mention earlier, this is my first time in a little bit working with alcohol markers, so things are gonna look a little bit awkward, a little bit trust the process, a lot trust the process actually, especially, oh my goodness, this little portion with Sam and also Leah. I feel like I messed up on those two the most. I am so sorry, Sam and Leah fans. I go back at the very end of the illustration and I do the line work with a black pen, and it kind of helps to tie up all of the loose ends and all the marker bleed and stuff. What I was originally thinking of doing, which turned out to be like way too unrealistic for this scope of a video, like the magnitude was just way too high, but first what I was envisioning doing was going back with colored pencil and individually lining like with the proper colors. With Sam's hair I would use an orange, or with his jacket I would use a blue, and I would just do that for all the characters with a colored pencil because I love the way colored pencil and alcohol marker look together. I just think it is so satisfying. I love the texture. But for just this like simple YouTube video, I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. Also, just with the illustration in general too, I just didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. I kept reminding myself this is just a spread in my sketchbook. It doesn't have to be perfect. I had to actively forgive my hands for being so clumsy and so used to digital art, double tap, Control Z, all that good stuff, the undoing, the transforming, the moving around. My hands are shaky. I need to be patient with myself when I draw traditionally, so I was trying not to put too much additional pressure on myself by trying to make it perfect. Anyway, let me tell you something that happened to me recently. It was pretty awful. So at the apartment that we're living in now, we often get wasps inside the apartment. Somehow they come inside the windows. They're always outside one particular window. It's right above the kitchen sink, and when I'm doing the dishes, they're just always buzzing and flying around. They're like taunting me. They're like, we can get in there, like we know how to get in. And on at least 2 occasions we have had wasps in the apartment. Not like throughout the apartment, like thank goodness. They usually just stick around like close to the window that they most likely came in from, but still it's already is pretty horrible. So usually it happens when both my husband and I are home, and he usually helps me take care of it. But so the other week I was home alone, and I think I had just gotten home. I think I was still working at the cafe at that point, because I remember being out and then coming home, like being out all day. And I'm in the kitchen and I am taking ingredients out because I was actually planning on making chocolate chip cookies that day, because yeah, sometimes you just want like a little treat, like a little easy dessert after dinner, just like grab a cookie, and making cookies is always really fun. Anyway, so I'm getting ingredients out, and I look up and I have a succulent plant on the windowsill above my kitchen sink, and on one of the little leaves of the succulent plant was just this mean wasp. Like it was sitting there, and it was so mean. It was just like I could tell like the hatred was emanating off of it. So my life like flashed before my eyes when I like looked up and saw like how close I was to it, because I was like pretty close to like the countertop and the windowsill's right there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like my husband wasn't going to be like getting home, so he was ending work soon, but even if he left right at that moment, he wouldn't have been getting home for like quite a while. And I was literally going through in my head like, literally, what do I do? Because I can't just leave, go carry on about my business, because if I leave and then come back, like who's to say that the wasp doesn't move and like fly throughout the apartment? Like, you know, I have to keep an eye on it, but also I can't just stop what I'm doing and watch this wasp for like the rest of the evening basically. Oh my gosh, it was so stressful. So I was Googling on my phone, like I was standing there for like a good 4-5 minutes. Like actually I was in fight or flight. Actually, I was in freeze, technically, I guess that would be. I was looking up like hairspray. I'm like, what do we have in the apartment that I could use? I was looking up hairspray. So apparently if you miss like with hairspray, like if it doesn't get the wasp, well, not only it doesn't kill it, it just kind of stuns it, but if you miss at all, like, or if it doesn't stun it in time, it's going to perceive it as an attack. So it's literally going to attack you. So I was like, okay, what else can I do? For some reason, I just thought of like alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol. And I'm like, what does that do to a wasp? Does that, oh, another thing about the hairspray is apparently it can hurt the plant. So I was like, what do I have that like won't hurt the plant? So I looked up about isopropyl alcohol, and apparently it doesn't hurt the plant. Spoiler alert. Well, okay, I'm getting there. We have like 91% isopropyl alcohol for like, you know, medical, like if we have like a wound or something, you know, like we just have it. And I'm looking it up, and yeah, so it will kill the bug like on contact. It basically like dissolves their cells. So I'm like, perfect. So I don up my gear. I get like a mask, because we just happen to have like still like a pack of masks in our apartment. So I put on a mask and I put on a hoodie, and I like pull the strings of the hoodie's hood so that like the least amount of my face is exposed, and you know, my body's covered with the hoodie, because I'm like, if this backfires, like I can, like if this thing flies at me, I need to be protected. So I go and I get the isopropyl alcohol. I take one of our smallest Pyrex glass bowls and I fill it. It's probably like what, like 4 ounces or something, I don't know, but it wasn't that big, but it was like big, like for the amount of like liquid I was pouring into that bowl. But I meant business. Like I was so serious. I'm like, I literally need to get this horrible creature. I have to get it out of my house. So I have this bowl of isopropyl alcohol, and I'm all donned up in my gear, and I'm like frozen there. I'm like ready to throw it at the plant. I was so scared because I'm like, if I miss this, it's over. Like it's over for me. Anyway, so I toss the bowl, and it just goes like all over the window, and the window, like it's just all full of like out, like, you know, the isopropyl alcohol. And the wasp falls off the plant to the other side, and it like falls backwards, and it's, you know, it dies. I'm so sorry if you have like empathy for, I'm so sorry. Like, out in nature, I'm like, fine, mind your business. Like, I'm not like a kill bugs type person if it's like outside in nature. If you're in my house and you are a violent, deadly creature, I'm gonna defend myself. Like, I'm so sorry if like this wasp dying ruins your day. I am so sorry, but like I was literally in survival mode. I'm so sorry. And I would probably assume if you were in my situation, you may not do something too different. I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't say anything unless you were in that situation, okay? But anyway, so the wasp dies, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So immediately I FaceTime my sister, because I was like all this adrenaline and I have to debrief with somebody. Oh, also before, I had like taken a picture of the wasp and sent it to my husband, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a wasp. And he like sent back like red siren alarm bells. He's like, oh, I'm coming. I like had to reply to him and be like, never mind, I got it. Well, I FaceTimed my sister immediately afterwards, and she looks at me and she's just like, she could tell I was at home in my apartment. She was like, what are you doing wearing a mask and a hoodie? I was just like, I'm literally about to tell you a story. And I just like debriefed it with her because I was like, I have to tell somebody about this. And I showed her the carcass of the body, and she's just like, she's like me, she's terrified of wasps. She was like, get rid of that. And I was like, I'm going to. I just had to show you first. So anyway, that is the story about what happened the other day with a wasp in our apartment. And sometimes I worry about running out of things to say in these videos, but I feel like this was the perfect story to tell in this video because it just rolled off the tongue. I was just really in the zone with it. I hope you enjoyed that story. Oh yeah, and about the plant being injured, so yeah, unfortunately a couple days later I looked at the succulent again and I did notice that it has some like little brown spots on the leaves where I had dumped the isopropyl alcohol on it. So I think what my mistake was I should have wiped it up immediately afterwards. I think I've just had so much adrenaline that day that like I didn't really like handle the cleanup that well. I just kind of assumed it would evaporate, but it kind of damaged the windowsill a little bit, and the plant's still like alive and thriving, but it has little spots on the leaves, so I'm hoping that like with plenty of sunlight and water it heals eventually. I hope it works like that. What else is going on recently? Well, the Switch 2 just was announced and I probably will not be getting it. It is just a little out of my price point this time around. I'm just one of those people that like never finishes their games, so I have a whole library of games that I could be playing, including Stardew Valley, including Breath of the Wild, including Tears of the Kingdom, because yes, I bought Tears of the Kingdom when I didn't beat Breath of the Wild. Fun fact, I have never even completed one Divine Beast. I just like to run around and domesticate horses in that game. But yeah, so plenty of games I could rather be playing right now than buying new ones, so I am probably going to wait. If maybe they come out with a light version, I'll consider it, but for now, you know, I have Discord. If I really wanted to call somebody while I'm playing the game that badly, I think I would probably just use that. And yeah, my husband kind of feels the same way. He's already has his games that he likes to play, so we're kind of good there. Oh yeah, and then exciting announcement. I was accepted on VGen. A mutual of mine on Blue Sky was able to give me an artist code, so I am now officially set up to accept commissions on VGen. Yay! I really want to become a verified artist on there soon, so if you have ever been interested in commissioning me, now is the time. I would really super appreciate it if you would consider it, because if I get more commissions, I will be able to get a verified status. That would make me so happy. That would mean, like, you know, I'm fully set up on the site. But also, again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a little bit between jobs right now, so any bit of extra income would really help to put groceries on the table. I would super appreciate it. I just love making cute art, and I would love to draw cute art for you. So if you have a character that you like, please consider possibly commissioning me to draw them, because I'd love to. And one more thing before I go. So my Patreon has been revamped a little bit. The highest tier, the Affogato tier at $10, has been dissolved and combined with the second highest tier, which is now the highest tier, the $5 tier, the cappuccino tier. So if you've ever been interested in my Patreon before, it's now cheaper than ever to do so at the highest tier. The lowest tier is still $1 a month. That hasn't changed, but yeah, I don't know, consider it if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I super appreciate it, and I hope you liked the drawing I did of all the Stardew Valley bachelors and bachelorettes. Subscribe if you want to be notified about my next upload, which will be soon. Bye bye!